Hello, my friends. It is time for the Remodelers Show, Thursday, July 23rd, 2020 edition.
Welcome to the Remodelers Show, hosted by Kyle Hunt.
That's me. Very nice intro. Very nice. All right, today's going to be I'm going to use that a lot. I'm going to use this a lot. I'm going to drop it a little bit too. We're going to kind of cruise through several different topics, a lot of different topics. Just saw a like on here. Thank you, Rhonda. 5-6 people already kind of cruising in. 8 seconds into the show, and we're off and rolling. Good morning. Good morning, Rhonda. Thank you for your comments. All right, so I want to start with, what do I want to start with? I was debating that. I was debating what I wanted to start with. One, I'd love your comments. You guys were cruising 2 days ago, and I just did a solo version of the Remodelers Show. I love your questions, comments. Please send those in. First one I want to hit on is one-on-ones. One-on-ones. What this is you as the manager having a one-on-one meeting with one of your primary reports. Maybe it is your project manager. Maybe it is a lead carpenter. Maybe it is your office manager. This idea of making sure you are giving some one-on-one time to your team. What does that look like? When you meet with them and do a one-on-one meeting, what's a good format for that? First, should be a 30-minute meeting. Doesn't need to, maybe even a little bit less than that. Doesn't need to be more than that. But by the way, anytime you schedule a meeting, it should have a time frame on it. But Kyle, we're just a small company. Do we really need to say we've got 45 minutes for this meeting? Yes. Because when you start to get clear with how long the meeting's going to go, when you have a bit of an agenda, you're going to be more efficient, more productive, and not waste time. So the one-on-one, the first 5 minutes can be something like, tell me how you think things are going and why. 1 being bad, 10 being impressed. What a good way to get a pulse. Let's take ourselves out of the minutia of your work and let's take it up top here. How are things going and why? Good question to ask your spouse too, by the way, or your kids, by the way. Next 5 minutes, share something that you are proud of, happy about, last challenges you need my help with. Start with something good. We're so focused on the negative, right? Something you're proud of or happy about since the last time we met, and any challenges you need my help with. Next 10 minutes, let's talk about whatever you want to discuss related to overall improvements, your career, training. What do you have for me? By the way, so far, do you see how the person that you're doing the one-on-one with needs to come to this meeting prepared? What are the topics? They've already thought through something they're proud of or challenges they have. And then the last 10 minutes, some coaching from me about something that you brought up during the meeting, something we've been working on, or something new that I think we should work on. So that's a nice little format for one-on-ones. And I've heard it just even this week 3 or 4 times from clients saying, hey, I've been doing those one-on-ones. I just feel like we're on the same page more. I feel like we've got our priorities aligned. I feel like we're making progress on things we wanted to improve. And that's because you're taking the time to be thoughtful about it, to be strategic about it, and just give it time. So that is the first little item on the Remodeler Show today. Boom. Ooh, we're already in double digits today. All right, cool. Next up, let me see who is watching this. I can see. Hi, Ernie. Good morning, good afternoon. I see him on there. I thought I could click on here and see who is watching this that may not have put a comment in or liked it. I didn't realize I had that feature, but it turns out I do. But I see some likes in there. Hi, Michael. Hi, Ernie. Hi, Kevin. All right, rock and roll. Next up on the Remodeler Show, as I get this going, is it says around the interweb. Around the interweb. By the way, I've got some new lighting up. I've got these big lights. Let me show you. Got these big fat lights now that just got unboxed. So if you're thinking to yourself, Kyle just looks extra lively today. He looks good today. What is different? He usually doesn't look that bright and shiny. It's because we got some new lights. All right. Carrying on. Around the interweb. There's a few topics on Remodelers community the last few days that I just wanted to pull out. And one in particular, my buddy Jeremy Maher down in Arizona posted, is there a good book on switching to the design build model? One that has objection responses, internal processes, etc. So Jeremy has not been doing the design build side of things. He's been doing a lot of free proposals, sometimes even free detailed proposals and some free design, if I'm remembering correctly, Jeremy. And we had several people kind of chime in on that. But the thing I wanted to pull out is something that Jeremy wrote. And Michael, you actually commented on it. And then Jeremy shared a few things. He said, part of the reason we're thinking about switching from what we're doing to this is a few of the benefits we perceive are of the design build model, having the project planned more before the construction phase. I want to just pause on that. This is going to probably be a never-ending, continue to improve, continue to work on thing in your remodeling business. All I do is work with remodelers. That's all I've done for the last 10 plus years. I've walked a lot of people through how to set up their design build side of things, how to navigate this process, the sales process, how do we communicate it? And I've watched a lot of remodelers, very successful ones, some that are continuing to improve. And one thing that I know is, one, it's very hard to get all of the planning done before construction starts. Very hard, not impossible. I also know that the more time and effort you put into walking your clients through selections and getting rid of allowances, the more we can make final decisions before they sign that final contract. That job is going to stay on budgets far more often. That job is going to have far fewer surprises and, oh crap, we forgot to decide and order this. Oh crap, it's back ordered. Oh no, now it just threw off everything. Say, amen, Brother Kyle, preach it. I hear you, man. You can say that in the comments if you'd like. And it's going to stay on schedule, but it's stinking hard work to get that amount of detail. That is why when we are chasing every job, when we are not charging for the service that we deliver of design and project development, or just even project development, we don't have the time. You don't have the time to walk people through and get all of those selections up front. When we put a little bit of a roadblock up and say, hey, I'll give you a free estimate, I'll give you a free ballpark range, but if you want a detailed design and a detailed proposal and specifications, we charge for that. And here's why that makes sense for you. When we do that, it's more of the planning before the construction phase. So Jeremy's spot on there, and I just wanted to unpack that one a little bit. He said the other reason is weeding out people that may not be a good fit. We do a lot of it on our website and in the initial phone call, but I like the idea of not providing so much work up front, and I would add to that just so much free work for the reasons that I just gave. What's another one on here? Essentially save time, provide a better experience for the homeowner, and a better process for us. He said, I looked into it a couple years ago, but we weren't ready. It seems we were close enough to be ready now. A lot of times maybe you're somebody that's experimented with this or tried it. It didn't work very well. Give it another shot. Read up about it. So much of it is confidence. So much of it is getting clear with your process. Something I would encourage you to take a peek at. Go to remodellersontherise.com. Scroll down, maybe it's probably like 10 or 11 episodes down now. And there's one that talks about what is the value, not only to you as the remodeler, but what is the value to the homeowner when it comes to doing and charging for project design and development. Give that a listen. I think it's going to encourage you. Or if you're somebody that already does it, it's going to just continue to help you double and triple down on that approach in your remodeling business. All right. Let's see here. We've got Alan. He's either waving or clapping. Rhonda says, you are looking stunning. It's because of this light, this beautiful light. And I shaved yesterday. You know what? One thing that the Remodeler Show has helped me in my own personal life is I have been shaving multiple times a week, 2 times a week, instead of sometimes just 1. So I feel like it's just helping. My wife probably thinks, I'm taking better care of myself. Thank you, Remodeler Show. And Rhonda was saying, amen, brother, to all of that. About that. Rob says it takes time, ... to do it right. Yes, Rob, I did see your phrase. I did see your phrase the other day of explaining design build, and correct me if I'm wrong or type it if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, it was you take an architect and you take a remodeler and they have a baby. That's us. If you guys think that's funny, start using that because it makes all the sense of the world. I think I nailed that, Rob. But yes, it takes time to do it right. We know that by following this process, it allows the project to happen much better. A huge goal for us is, yes, to deliver a beautiful project and a project that you're super happy with, but it's also to give you a wonderful experience, as stress-free as possible. We want to keep this on schedule. We do not want this project to drag and drag and drag and make your inconvenience of trying to still live in your home, or if you're out of the home, to go and go. We want to make sure that we're comfortable and confident and get the number dialed in and firm, so that, like so many other times, if you don't do that, the price just keeps going up and up and up. That's not how we work. That's not how we like to give an experience to the homeowner. Good. Dude, that list of benefits should be part of any business, not exclusive to design build. Who said that? Who said that? Oh, that Michael, you need to click a little button at the top of the StreamYard thing, and then your name will pop up. And then Michael said, let's do a guest show next week to talk about the whole design build model. Michael Anschel, next Friday, July 31st, you and me, book it. Bailey, are you watching this? Book Michael. We're doing it next Friday, the 31st. It'll be fun. And part of the reason is I've got Brian Sebring coming tomorrow, which will be lots of fun. And then the Remodeler Show will not be here next Monday through Thursday. Taking too many vacation days in July, but I'm taking 4 more next week. Family and I are just going up north and spending time. But I don't have any trips in August planned, probably even September. So it's going to be hopefully some consistent Remodeler Show. We must charge for it. Good. And Rob said I did nail that, architect and builder. StreamYard, you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then you can click yes, allow people to see my comments. Oh, you guys are active today, and I love that. Friday the 31st. Lock it in. All right. If that doesn't work for you, Michael, let me know, but it sounds like it's going to work for you. Okay. Chime in. All right. What else do I have? Could you guys, since you're so friendly, this is a risky thing for me to do because it takes some effort on your part, but we got remodelers. This is just an ask for me. And then I'll get back to giving some advice and hopefully helping, inspiring, reminding, encouraging, which is the heart of the show. But Remodelers on the Rise, which is my podcast, is coming up on the 100th episode. And Bailey Suzio, my employee extraordinaire, said, hey, why don't we do something fun? What if people just got, we don't even need to do video. What if people just got their little voice memo out and just recorded a minute or two on something they remember that was really helpful or valuable, whether it's this show, whether it's because we've been uploading those episodes, whether it's something you listen to on the podcast. And I said, that is a wonderful idea. I wonder if anybody will actually do that. I wonder. But that's my ask. Can you just record that? Just shoot me a text, shoot me an email with it. We would love that, and it would just be a really fun show. Please and thank you. All right, and Michael, anonymity is lost. Look at that. Look at this happy couple, recently married, beautiful little baby, beautiful remodel too. Michael, we might have to show some pictures of this fantastic remodel you've been creating. All right, thank you. Okay, next up is batting practice. Batting practice. I was talking to a client yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday morning. And he was talking about one of his employees. One of his employees is really good behind the scenes. He's been helping with design and estimating and some project management stuff. But this gentleman is not necessarily great with client interactions. And there's been some issues here just recently where a client has not been impressed with communication and with the tone and things like that. And as I was talking to my client about it, he was saying, Kyle, you just need to talk to him one time and you'll kind of get it. He just has a little different personality, and he just rubs people a little bit the wrong way. And it kind of is what it is. And I pushed him a little bit more, and I understand he's actually really good at the design and the estimating and some of the project management. And he's not good on the client side. Now we have a couple choices to make at that point, right? We can either keep him hidden and just he is what he is, and I'm going to keep him over there. Or in the case of this situation, my client needs him to step up and take more communication over. My client is very busy in other areas of the business. He needs this position to be able to communicate directly with clients. And one of the things that I said is, hey, it might take a little bit of time, but the first thing that I love that you did is there was a client issue, and my client went right up to that employee the next morning and said, here's what the client said, here's what the situation was, and here's how I would have handled it differently. What are your thoughts? And they had a good conversation about it. What I said was, you need more batting practice. You can call it batting practice, role playing. I call it batting practice because everybody's like, role playing, and it's just, everybody's got weird feelings about that. So batting practice. Supposedly Major League Baseball is starting back up, batting practice. So I said to my client, I said, hey, you just need to surprise him from time to time. When he's sitting in there, you walk in, in through the office, be a little weird and say, I'm the client, you're you. Hey, can you break that down into more detail so that I can see line by line what that looks like? How do you respond to that? Somebody asks, I'm going to ask you a question and you don't know the answer. How are you going to respond to that? I'm going to ask you a question and you're not really sure what I'm doing, but you have a tendency, and you've said it too, to just quickly answer. I want you to practice answering a question with a question. Do some batting practice. If you are just going to say, no, that's who he is and he can't get any better without even trying, that's a problem. So now if it's a very bad employee and they need to go, we also need to be decisive and let them go. But in this case, that's not the case. So he's going to work on batting practice. There's a lot of batting practice that you can do for yourself, that you can do with your team. Another situation that came up yesterday was, how do we effectively say no to non-ideal projects? And I'll, if somebody wants me to answer that question, go ahead and say, hey, Kyle, why don't you answer that? That's actually very timely, and I'll give you some thoughts on that. But I was just going to tie it in with batting practice. I said it is sometimes hard, a little tricky to let somebody down nicely and kindly, or serve them in a way that's not you going out to their home. But the more, especially when you're dealing with more of a delicate way of saying it and how you say it, it's important to do batting practice. If you've practiced it out loud 20, 30, 40, 60, 70 times, you're going to get good at it. Is that proper English? Get good at it. You're going to get better at it. You're going to improve at it. But if we only take a swing and do BP when it's game time, we're going to stumble. We're going to trip over the way we say it. Batting practice. We are professional business people. We are professional salespeople. We are professional leaders. And don't think that we don't need to practice. I know it's kind of weird to look in the mirror and practice something, or you're driving and you're kind of saying, okay, if they ask me this, here's what I say. It's kind of a weird thing, but try it, because it's been effective. And this concept of catch your team off guard, ask them kind of a tricky question, and do some BP. That's just fun. Aren't we in business to also have fun? I think so. Okay. Time for a new hat. I have that one memorized. Rob, what if I turned it around? Is that better? Hang on. What I'm about on this show is to get, nobody's saying take that off because now you can't see because of the shininess. I have a listener of the Remodeler show who would like a hat change. I aim to please. One moment. Oh, there you go. Woo! Found a classic. Classic. You can't see what it says. It says Macon Golf Club, my friends. You still can't see it. The light's too bright. But first of all, that's a terrific looking hat. But it says Macon Golf Club on it. Macon Golf Club. Let me take you down memory lane. Macon Golf Club. I grew up in Macon, Michigan. Much different than Macon, Georgia, but still backwoods dirt road. Macon had the United Methodist Church. It had a little party store, and it had a 9-hole golf course. I played 8th grade football. Santino Cerise broke my collarbone. I didn't really like football. And then between 8th grade and my freshman year, I said, I got a job at the Macon Golf Club, and I started playing golf like crazy. And then in the fall, I said, am I going to go play football and get beat up? Am I going to run cross country? That doesn't sound very fun. Or am I going to go play 9 holes at the country club every day? And then I chose to play golf in the fall, and then followed by basketball and baseball. But Macon Golf Club has a soft spot in my life. There it is. It is now closed. It's very sad, but I've got a Macon Golf Club hat. There you go, Rob. That's better. Looks like a doofusy hat, by the way. That's a very shiny hat, yes. And Rob feels better. Okay, Michael, if you're not having fun in the business, you got to get out. this came up yesterday during the Queen Bees. Rhonda, you were there. It came up during the Queen Bees meeting. The Queen Bees is a mastermind group of remodelers, and most of them are kind of the queen bees of their business. Need I say more? And one of the things we were talking about vacations. There were several people that just needed to get a little bit of a break, to get away for a little while, and just talking about the value of that and the importance of that, even if you don't feel like you can, and even if it's just getting away for a little bit, sometimes we need that. But it kind of parlayed into a little bit of discussing, I think this is how it came up. I said, hey, when you're on vacation next week, one of the bees was going on vacation. I said, you don't have to make this vacation real formal, but maybe set a little bit of a goal to just step back and think of a little bit of the bigger picture related to the business and your involvement in it. Is it working? Like, what do you really not enjoy about it? What needs to change about your role? And in this case, most of them are the co-owners or the owners of the business. And I think sometimes we let the business just happen to us versus designing our business or designing our position so that it serves our life, right? That whole adage of sometimes we let the business direct our life versus our life direct the business, right? There's some truth in that. So I think it's, that whole idea of having fun. The reason I enjoy my business and the reason I'm not bored with it is I have integrated into the culture of my business and how my brand is and who I am. And it's because it's who I am to have fun. I've had people over time kind of say, Kyle, why do you talk about your family? Why do you talk about your kids? Why do you talk about your marriage? Well, that's fun for me and it means something and it matters and it helps me build know, like, and trust in relationship, but also it's just me. I talk about my faith a lot. I've been on a devotion a day on Facebook this week. Thought to myself the other day, bet you there's some remodelers who are not believers that might be offended by some of the stuff I'm writing, but it's who I am, right? And hopefully it also just is encouraging as well. So have fun, be yourself. Also, make sure we're adjusting our business so that it's serving us a little bit more. Don't let it consume us. Some scattered thoughts there, but hopefully some good ones. She loves the bees. Okay, good. All right, what else do we have here? One thing, I'm having a little bit of fun and some good interaction on the text community. I try to put a text out there that's unrelated to any other content that I'm putting out. We try to do it once a week or so. If you text JOIN to 516-219-9736, and if you pass it out, we can reply and get connect one-on-one, which is kind of fun. Okay. All right, we're on the 6-minute mark. We've covered several things here. There's Bailey coaching people up on how to record that little audio for Remodelers on the Rise. We want to hear your lovely voices on Remodelers on the Rise. Yes, please do that. All right, what other questions do you have? And let me share a couple other things. Another thing that came up recently that I thought would be good for you to hear is the idea of making sure that we have a strong start of job checklist. Now, if we're not taking a lot of photos of the existing conditions before we start, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a chance that we might be blamed for a ding or a door that doesn't work or a window that won't shut or a slider that's out of alignment, and be blamed for that because we didn't make a note of it. We didn't take a picture of it. We didn't talk to the homeowner about it. And one of my clients was just up against this and said, I just fixed it. Wasn't a huge deal, but it took a couple hours of our time. It ate into our profit a little bit. And he said, I'm going to start just doing a better job of having a stronger start of job checklist. It's a similar thing. If you rent a car, before you leave that parking lot with your rented car, what happens? The guy or gal walks around, they make note, or they have us do it, make note of any dings and scratches and marks. And we make a note of that and we sign off on that, pre-existing conditions. So this idea of just making sure we're documenting, but also a little bit broader, just what is our checklist for how we start a job strong? So that was something that came up that I thought is a good reminder and something that sometimes can slip under the radar. So hopefully that's something of value for you guys. And then let me share a few thoughts on that whole, how do we effectively say no when it's not an ideal project? And then we'll see if anybody else has any other comments and we'll close strong. This hat, hang on, I got to adjust this hat. It's a little too snug. It's a little too snug. Okay. Oh, you can even see Macon a little bit more. Hilarious. I know. It's funny. Creative ways to say no. There's several facets of it. One, when you are talking to a new prospect, have that banner over the top. How do I serve this person well? Have that kind of mindset, that mentality. How do I serve this person well? Yes, you're qualifying them, but when we looks even worse now. When we have a new prospect, we need to think through that. If it is, not a good fit for you, can you think of anybody that you can refer them to? Just a nice, solid referral. I know that sometimes it's hard, but maybe you have a handyman. Maybe you can direct them directly to one of your trade partners. Maybe there's somebody that, does a little bit of smaller projects that's not an ideal fit for you that you can introduce them to. And are you willing to actually solidly make that introduction, or are you just going to hand over a phone number? Consider, how do I best serve this person? Because if you serve them well in introducing them to somebody new, when they come and need something that is more up your wheelhouse and an ideal project, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember you. So there's something there. Making sure that you're just being really transparent about what you're going through right now. So many remodelers, so many of my clients, what they're experiencing is they've never been busier. So when you're talking to somebody and you ask them, when are you looking to have this project done? And it's a little tighter time frame than you're going to be able to handle. For you to say, that's just not going to work for us. We're pretty busy right now. That's just off-putting, right? That just makes me feel like, oh, you're too busy and important for me. That's not the feel we want. Let people know a little bit about the situation. It might be, since things kind of open back up for us, we have literally never been busier. Or we have more calls and more people that have reached out for projects than we have had in a long, long time. And in order to serve them well, I need to make sure and be careful not to take on too many new appointments. So the way that we're doing that is I'm taking on 3 new appointments per week. And this week and the first week in August and the second week in August are already booked. So I apologize that we can't get out sooner than that, but I'm booking appointments for that third week in August. Now, at least, even though that might still be disappointing, it's telling them the true story and what's going on. They can empathize a little bit more, and it protects your time a little bit too. So there's a few quick thoughts on that. So there's a few thoughts. Cool. It's the 2-minute warning. Let's get morning, which means we are wrapping up today's show. And at this time, what I really love to do is say, what was a takeaway that you had from today's show? And I also just spend a minute or two kind of recapping what we covered. So I'd love to see in the comments, and thank you for your good involvement today, my friends. And if you're watching this, which a lot of you do after it's live, please still toss it in the comments. It was fun to see this going live on LinkedIn. Couple of my buddies that are non-remodelers, he's like, hey, I saw you pop up on my LinkedIn. So it's kind of fun to be on LinkedIn a little bit. I believe that someone else will be able to make you happy. So Rob's adding on to the idea of how do we let them down, easy? How do we say no? I believe that someone else will be able to make you happy, and then maybe adding on to, maybe you just flat out say that and then zip it. Or just saying, we're just not for the type of project you're doing, for our backlog, for the time factors, we're just not going to be able to make you happy on this. We're not going to be able to serve you the way that you need to be served. Good. Excellent. And I would say, what would I say? I would say my takeaway, if I were to add just one takeaway, is to ponder this idea and to evaluate how you're doing on, am I having fun in my business? Am I enjoying the process? Is all of my enjoyment tied up in, well, when we get to this volume, or when I have more people on my team, or when this is in place or that is in place, then I'll be happy and be satisfied in my business? That is fool's gold so often, because you get to that point and then you sit there and go, that's not as good as I thought. Are we enjoying the process? Are we enjoying our work? If we're not, what needs to change? And then identify one thing that needs to change and work on that this month and work towards that. Sometimes it also can be as easy as delegating, lowering your workload, getting better at saying no, stuff we talked about today, implementing design build process. I know a lot of remodelers who I've worked with over the years that are a lot happier since they've implemented a stronger sales process that helps them qualify, helps them not waste time, tire kick, and they're not racing around so much. So sometimes fixing parts of the business can make it more enjoyable. So ponder that. What does that look like for you in your business to enjoy your business more? Okay. That's it, folks. I will see you tomorrow. My friend Brian Sebring will be joining me. We'll talk about good stuff that hopefully will be helpful in your remodeling business and maybe even your life. I know it's a tall task. If you heard something today that you liked, work on implementing it. Catch you guys later.